Ashton Price, you have a number of accomplishments. I was reading over, I mean, it was so fun to watch you at Bay High School. A little bit about you. It says here you averaged 25.6 points per game in your senior season. You took home the Great Lake Conference Player of the Year award. You were also named Division II Academic All-Ohio by Ohio High School Basketball Coaches Associated with a 4.0 GPA. So my question to you is, how'd you get there? How'd you do it? What do you think was most influential on getting there?
So academics wise, I would first just like credit to my parents. I think my parents are always like stressing how important it was to take care of that stuff. And like that's my business. So I mean, academics, I took it one day at a time, never stress myself out too much, focused on that day what I needed to get. I'm very organized. I set a schedule for myself. So like I have things done that day, things I want to get done the next day. That way I'm always ahead of schedule too. So I always try to stay ahead of things. And obviously, we got great teachers that day and they helped me, when I was confused and stuff like that. So they helped me. And then basketball wise, I mean, I had great coaches and great teammates that helped me achieve goals, but also the more importantly, achieve, goals we had set as a team as in winning conference and stuff. But basketball, I mean, I worked at that every day. It's something I love doing. Some people, they might say, oh, you were so committed to it, you worked every day. That had to be hard. But in my eyes, it's fun. Like the process is what I always want. Another thing I live by is process over product. You have to like enjoy the process, enjoy the ride. You have to love that. My dad's always stressed that to me. There's going to be highs and lows in everything you do.
Absolutely. And even like reading more information and talking with more people about like having process goals versus outcome goals. And it's really being in the love of those process goals of developing your skills and getting better and better and better, because that's going to take care of the outcome.
There's a motivational speaker. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name's Inky Johnson that I listen to all the time. At how like the true test of somebody's characters, like, how they are when times are bad. So, and like how you should, that's why you need to be process oriented rather than result oriented, because you're not always going to get what you want. But if you're enjoying the process, that's what it's all about. So
you get up and you don't want to go to practice. There's days, right? And it's just taking it, what seems to be a common theme is you take it like, I'll give it my all that I have today. It might not be a lot, but I'm still going to show up and give my all.
yeah.
Do you feel like you were able to do that on those days that you were like, I just don't want to, I don't want to work out, I don't want to go to practice? Or have you found that you haven't had that?
I think it's human nature to wake up some days and be like, man, like I'm tired, you think of all these other like things you got going on. But big into motivational like speakers and stuff. I feel like they very intelligent and that's a good way to go about life. And they talk about I realize like it's humbling almost, because you realize like, wow, like I'm not looking forward to practice. I could be complaining about it, but I'm so blessed to be even like have the opportunity to play a sport, let alone play in college, let alone even, I mean, I'm blessed to, even if I ever see the court, if I ever actually get to play, but just be a part of the team. So that's what I would try to remind myself in those moments. It's like so many kids out there just, whether they weren't given, God didn't gift them with the talent to play at the next level, or, God didn't even gift them like they weren't able to play. Like I'm so blessed. So in my eyes, I got to make the most of it. And obviously that's way easier said than done. But like when those days, those hard days, that's what I try to remind myself.
Was there an incident or something that happened that you were like, I am going to be the best basketball player that I can be?
I mean, growing up, I always loved basketball. I love sports. I watch all sports. I used to wake up and I was like in middle school and at 6 a.m. and so I could watch like an hour or two of Sports Center. Like my life has always revolved around it. But I still play sports for fun, but like, until middle school and freshman year, I would still say I played sports just for like the fun of it. I really wouldn't say for the love of it. And my freshman year, I feel like my freshman going into my sophomore years when I really started to like realize I love basketball. Like this is what I love. Like it drives me. And then sophomore year, I was on varsity, and I didn't really get to play much. And I think that motivated me. I had role models I got to watch growing up with people I wanted to be like. And Eric Painter lived down the street from me, and he was somebody I always looked up to, and he had great success. So I think that's where that started too, is also like seeing other people and great leaders and great people around me and great coaches and a family that supported me and that supported my goals. So I feel like that's what kind of started it, was seeing other people succeed and being like, wow, like that's pretty cool. Like Eric got to go to, I think, the Final Four, like see team success. Like that was awesome. So I think that's where it all started. But I'd say what really, really changed it was, again, a motivational speech I heard from Denzel Washington. It talks about how, this is why I would say my why is too, why I push myself with basketball wise is he gives this speech. I think it was, a graduation speech at Harvard, I think. But he gives a speech, and it's about how when you're being around, like when you're on your deathbed or whatever, you have all these angels around you, and they're telling you what you could have been. You could have been this, you could have been that, and how like that regret was something that like that has to be one of the worst feelings ever. So that's kind of what pushes me, is like I never want to look back on something and be like, man, I could have done so much more, and I wonder what could have happened. So I mean, in my eyes, there's no such thing as like failing, but I want that as high as goal as I can and do everything I can to try to get there. And that way, if I don't make it, I can look back and be like, there's nothing more I could have done. And I can live with that. I can't live with the fact that I could have done a lot more, and I could have accomplished all the dreams that I had. And I think that's what keeps me like attached to my goals and not lose track of them.
Right. So was there any point in your basketball career life where you did want to just quit? Like maybe this wasn't for me, maybe it's a different sport. Is there any time?
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I think it's human nature, it's things get hard. I think it's human nature to say, well, why don't I just quit? It's the easy way out. But like I said, I think the true test of a man is when things are hard and you got to keep going. And I think that's also what makes sports so great, is life. Like life's going to be hard. Like you're going to have your job one day and you're going to have rough days, rough weeks, but you got to keep going. You got to support it for your family. And I think that's another great thing that sports teaches you. But definitely, I mean, my sophomore year, my sophomore year, it was tough. I had goals for myself, and like I said, I don't really say I failed, but I didn't accomplish them. I didn't even come close. And that's hard to deal with, especially as a young boy. I'm young for my grade. So as a boy, I was still a boy. I would consider myself. It was hard to deal with. But like I said, I mean, I had great teammates, great friends, a great family that, they believed in me. And I think you have to believe in yourself before you can, any of your goals can come true. And I think that I credit that to like my teammates, my friends, my family for believing in me and pushing me.
And I think that's a common thread with elite athletes that I've talked to, is that several of them have said, like, I didn't quite believe in me, but other people believed in me so much that I started to go, yeah, I can do this. Like, it's almost like a borrowed belief.
Right.
Because they're so solid, and of course you can do this. So I think that's important to have that support around, definitely. Do you feel like there's a difference in high school versus college as far as mindset goes, as far as what goes into having that positive self-talk, having the routines? Did your routines change? Did your goals change?
I think it's a huge adjustment. You go from being a senior on your high school team and being the leader to becoming a freshman on a college team with grown men.
Right.
And you're in a transition phase. So that was definitely tough. But I mean, I have great teammates here and great coaches that helped me through that process. So my mindset definitely, I mean, I don't know if it changed, but I definitely had to mature, I'd say, becoming a college athlete rather than just a student athlete in high school. The academics are a lot harder here, obviously, than in high school. I spent a lot more time. So I learned, I mean, I felt like I had good time management skills, but I had to sharpen those. I feel like every stage of your life, you gotta, just strive to get better. And I just had to get better at things I thought I improved at, that I was good.
Been visualizing? Have you been watching yourself talk? Have you been setting bigger goals? Have you, those types of things? Has that changed from high school to college?
To be quite honest with you, I don't really think so. I
Good.
still set goals for myself. I don't like to share those goals with others because those are my goals,
Right.
and not just about me. They're my team's goals. I mean, I think that I mean, my eyes just you set goals and you work for them. That's what you set goals because it keeps you on track every day. Things are going to happen, but if you have goals, win the conference championship, and you're every day you're striving for those.
Can you share with us like your, let's say, game day routine?
One thing I like to do on game days definitely is when I wake up is drink a lot of water. So right away I drink a lot of water. I get through my classes, I eat a big breakfast. And once I'm done with classes, I like to, it's kind of weird, it's like my routine. I like to eat alone and listen to music, rap, but I like
Yeah,
to listen
yeah.
to stuff like pumped up and ready for the game. And then if it's a home game, I like to obviously get my like my handles get warmed up before the game, before actual warm ups. And while I'm warming up, I like to listen. Like there's like 2 or 3 motivational videos, like speakers I like to listen to while I'm warming up, get myself ready. And then I like to I have notes in my phone of my goals. I like to look at those, and
Perfect.
then just kind of get ready for the game. Then and game plays and starts. So
If it's an away game,
and
is
if
it
it's an away,
different?
so usually what I do for an away game is if it's like an hour, the first half of it, I like to watch. I watch film for home games too, but I like to watch film on the bus of like practice or something like that, and think about what our coach would be like, guys, this is going to be a look we could have a lot tonight. I like to picture that happening in the game and different reads I'd have coming off, like different ball screens and stuff. And then the rest of it, I like to listen to motivational speeches and stuff like that. So.
Do you have a personal mantra?
I mean, if I'm like, going through like in a game and it's hard, I say this is what I like to remind myself, like, this is what you work for. This is what you play for. Again, it's like back to that thing, like I'm blessed. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, it's fourth quarter. It's a tough game. We're down by 2. It's like, this is what it's all about. And I'm blessed to be in this opportunity. So many kids would love to have this opportunity. So that's what I tell myself.
Do you feel like you have to make sacrifices? Like game day, you can't go out the night before. Do you feel like you go through that?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, I think in order to succeed at anything in life, academics, the workplace, anything, I feel like you have to make sacrifices. So I definitely sacrifice some things, but in my eyes, like I said, it's all worth it because this is what I love basketball. I love it. I mean, even I mean, if I'm not playing basketball, like let's say I wasn't playing, I'd still be watching it. I'd still be going to the gym and shoot. So for me, they're not real sacrifices because it's
Right,
just while some people might love going out and stuff like that and having a good time, this is a good time for me. So
right. Do you practice, do you do any kind of visualization, any kind of like mental rehearsal?
yeah, exactly that. Usually the day before games, I go to bed. I like to visualize stuff, and it's not so much like me scoring, or it's usually like it's weird stuff, just like us winning, like celebrating after the game. Like I like to visualize stuff like that, and then a lot of times I like to visualize. Coach will give me, work on this, work on that, like cutting off your defender. Like I like to visualize me successfully doing stuff that my coach has told me to work on. Because
Yeah,
obviously for
yeah.
me to get.
Which is awesome because your brain doesn't know the difference. The more you can pull in the realness to it, your brain doesn't know the difference whether it's happening or not. So, do you have non-negotiables? My non-negotiable is that I have my morning time and no one interrupts that morning time that I have. Like it's non-negotiable. I do it every day. I spend that time reflecting, journaling, whatever it is.
Usually I like to be like after games or practices and stuff, like I like to find a little time just to be alone while at the court, like just shooting and stuff. Whether it's like, me actually, working on something or me just
Right.
kind of being like a boy again, just shooting in his backyard type of thing. I think it just relaxes me and brings me back to
Right.
like
Right. No, that would be a non-negotiable. Like it's something that's really important to you and that you're going to make the time to do it.
Yep.
What advice would you give to these high school athletes who want to play in college?
Things I would tell them is definitely the same thing I said about the Denzel Washington speeches. Don't don't let yourself like regret anything you've done. So work at it as hard as you can, and as humbling as it may be, you have to, if you gave your best effort and you weren't able to play at the next level, like I could live with that. I mean, and of course it's gonna be frustrating and stuff, but you gotta live with that. And I would say never give up. Keep don't lose focus of your goals. If that's your goal, stay committed to it. And if you say that's your goal, like have your actions match that. You're gonna have to make sacrifices, as some would say, and believe in the work, like process over product. I always have faith. Some days it seems like, oh, like you're working out for a week and you're just struggling, and you got to believe in the work. You got to believe that's all going to pay off. And a big thing for me is believing, God has a plan for me, and this is all part of His plan, and me becoming not a better basketball player, but a better basketball player, but a better person too. This is
Right.
all going to help me one day. So
Right. Because all of this transfers into life, all of these skills, setting goals. What a great thing that you have been doing for a long time, because that will carry you. Thank you for your time. I know this is entering the busy season, right?
yeah.